Hey, good afternoon. It's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. I don't think I've had you in my tomato house before, but here I am today to show you how and why I train my tomatoes to 2 heads. Now, training them to different heads is something that really applies more for indeterminate varieties of tomatoes, like this one here, the kind that will vine and continue growing all the way through the season. There's another kind of tomato on the market that's called bush tomatoes, and bush tomatoes simply grow to a certain height and age, and then they flower, and then they're done. So you don't have to worry so much on those ones about training to heads. But these ones here are greenhouse tomatoes that I will train up strings like this, and for that purpose I want to train them down to 2 heads. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, every time you have a tomato have a leaf, above that leaf, and I'll show you a close-up here, there's something called a sucker. And that sucker, if left to grow, will make a whole new vegetative shoot of the tomato, and that itself will make a new head. What's more, for every leaf that that one throws, there will be another head there as well. As you can well imagine, that results in a plant, if unchecked, that has like a bazillion different shoots, not that much fruit, lots of foliage, and is not great for training or managing in a greenhouse situation for fruiting. So I'm going to show you how to take off some of those suckers right now, and I'll give you a close-up of the plant. Well, you might see that these are a little bit large for their initial training. I ran out of time while growing other things this season and sort of neglected them for a while, but that's okay. It gives me a good opportunity now to show you how to get one of these trained, because there's lots and lots of different suckers on here. So I mentioned that some of the smaller suckers that happen between the leaf and the main stem, that's a sucker there, can just be pinched off like that. Very easy. You can pinch off all of these small ones the exact same way, just to get them out of the way so that we can start to see the structure of this thing. You can see already that it's sort of naturally trained itself to, sorry to count out loud for you again, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main heads, and 5 heads are too many for a tomato. 2 would be perfect, and I'm thinking on this one here, because I have a string over here and I have a string back this way, that the one main head, the big one here, I'm going to train onto this back string, and then either this one or maybe this one can go up this string here. So let's see how it goes. So for some of these larger suckers that have already gotten quite big, it's going to take the clipper to take those off. So easy enough. Back here, in behind, there's another one. This one I can just pinch off by hand. It's no problem to strip off some of these lower leaves. In fact, I much prefer it, because eventually they will be falling off anyway, really low down on the tomato, and so I like to take those off early. Here's a larger sucker up this way, and now I have to make that decision. Which one of these am I going to use? Either this one or this one. This one's better in terms of being closer to the right direction. This one here is a little bit bigger. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I'm going to take this one off, pinch off these ones here. Now the question becomes, how do I attach these to the strings for further training? When I first started doing this, I grabbed some of these clips from the agriculture store, and they're really easy to use. You just pinch them around the string so that when you close them, they'll be locked on tight, and then click them around the stem, and that holds it like very tight. The only problem or downside of these are great for beginners, great for when I first started doing this, but carrying around extra equipment or supplies when you're training tomatoes just slows up the whole process. So what I prefer to do now is simply twist the plant around the string, or the string around the plant, whichever way you're going to say it. And once you've done that, just keep on going the same direction all the way up. I'll show you again on the big one here. Again, I'm going to take off this leaf down low. I see another sucker here up high. It's starting to look a little bit cleaner now, right? Down to 2 heads. And on this one here, I'm just going to go ahead and start twining it on to the string. So the reason I train to 2 heads, and I guess I should explain here that it's an arbitrary number. Some people just train up 1 string, some people train up 2 or 3, and it's all fine. It's just what's convenient for me is that I have my greenhouse here, and if you look up, and I hope you can catch this on the video, they're tied up onto the support of the greenhouse there, and I have one of those bars every 5 feet. So I have 2 coming out of this pot here, and they crisscross across the aisle here. And that means that this aisle is going to be blocked by tomatoes growing into it, but this aisle over here and this aisle over here will be free for me to train the tomatoes and for me to do harvesting in. So that number is, as I say, completely arbitrary just to my growing situation, but I find that 2 is quite manageable for me here. Okay, should I do one more start to finish? You can see obviously very confusing to begin with. It's again got 5 or 6 main suckers down there. So I'm going to choose this one on this edge to go up this string. I'm going to choose one on the other edge to go the other string, and that means I'm going to cut out a big section of the tomato right there, and one here. And yes, I've set that tomato back a long way, but that's okay. I've got a long season here. I've got another 4 months of yield off of this, and training it more manageable right now means that I'm going to have better yields and a more manageable plant all the way through that season, and that one was easy. So those are the basic steps of training your indeterminate tomato onto 2 heads. First, you choose a couple of good-looking stems that are heading kind of the direction that you like. Then you use your clippers or your fingers to pinch off or cut off any stems that are going in other directions. With the chosen stems, you train those either by winding them or by attaching them by clips onto the strings. And then from there, it's just a matter of maintenance. You continue to pick your fruit, you continue to wind up the string or attach with more clips, and you continue to pull off suckers as they develop in the crotch of the leaf there. And that's it. That way I get fruit here anyway from July through approximately October. So and it's manageable the whole time. So thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions about this method or any comments that you'd like to add yourself about different ways that you do it, I'd sure like to hear those. You can drop those in the comments below, and thanks again for watching.